Hello and welcome to the Full Said Half Mast podcast, episode number 58. We are going to be doing a full recap of the Atlanta race this weekend. We're also going to be previewing the World Endurance Championship, round number 1 in Qatar. Formula 1, Formula 2 are back. It's secure for the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend. Let's go over our driver of the week, bonehead moves of the week, as well as some other Big Daddy NASCAR stuff we got to talk about. Some big rants about Atlanta, honestly. Then we'll give you all of our preview picks, especially for the NASCAR races this weekend at Vegas, on top of, like I mentioned, Formula One and World Endurance Championship. Fantasy as well for Formula One and NASCAR. And whatever else we get into here tonight. It should be a fun one. But first off, I got Tom here with me tonight. Tom, how are you doing, man?
Oh man, did we just have a spectacular weekend of racing? I mean that both sarcastically and for real lives. Actually, the real racing we really only got was through a broadcast.
Yeah, next to
Let's be honest.
and for
Let's just be honest.
PSCRL and back markers. Yeah, it was the only
Yeah,
good racing we had
yeah,
this week.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's so nuts. All right, so normally we'll go over news first, but tonight I just want to get into it, man. I got to get this off my chest. I'm tired of reading all of these damn NASCAR fans' opinions on the races this weekend. Um, I guess let's just go over briefly the truck and Xfinity. We'll just keep this pretty bland and short here. So the trucks were on Friday, on Saturday, excuse me, the Freight 208. Daniel Dye, congratulations to him. He got pole. I'll talk about the two stage winners. Those would be Christian Eckes and Kyle Busch. And then Kyle Busch goes on to win the race. Grant Enfinger, Tom's pick, was leading this race late. Had a tire go down from the lead. I was
Typical.
gutted. Oh, gutted.
That's like typical Tom Pick fashion right there.
I was pulling for him at the end for your sake there, Tom. I was like, come on, Aunt Grant. And then the tire went down. Another moment in this race, though, we saw Bailey Curry. His roof came off. They took the roof off. Go up to the stoplight and pulled a roof off that thing, you know? The roof off at the MetLife. I don't know. Oh, man. Yeah, that was an interesting moment. And then your two bonehead moves out of this race. And honestly, it's just a product of the race. And we'll talk more about this. But Thad Moffitt and Jack Wood kind of did the same thing in this race. They both tried to clear themselves, trying to make a move to pass somebody because they're all running in a single file line, a train along the top, no racing. Nobody knows how to develop a move. Nobody knows how to develop a run. Stage cautions, which absolutely ruin the flow of a race. Why are we running stage cautions in a truck race? The stage ain't even damn long enough for a pit sequence. Like, I don't understand. I mean, same with the Xfinity. Like, Jesse Love qualifies on pole. Jesse Love wins stage 1. Jesse Love wins stage 2. Jesse Love show. And then at the end of this race, it turns into a fuel mileage race because they ran green the whole time in a single file line. Some guys were able to save fuel better than others. Ford's probably going to have to go back to the drawing board on fuel strategy here because every single damn Ford ran out of gas at the end of this race. And then we get a late race restart, Groove I checkered. All these guys are running out of gas. And then Austin Hill, I don't know how he saved enough fuel, wins the race. Also, notable shout out there, though, SVG P3. I was screaming at my TV at the end there. I was like, come on, SVG. You can do it, my guy. But they didn't run out. I mean, they didn't run out. So great job for SVG. I mean, compare him to other rookies in the same series. He's doing pretty damn good. All right, Tom. Your opinion of the truck and Xfinity racing.
Terrible. It was a snooze fest. We saw cars we couldn't even pass. It wasn't even pack racing. It was just, even then, if it was just pack racing, it wasn't good. If you call that pack racing, it was just terrible. It's so sad to see what Atlanta has turned into. I really thought of Atlanta as one of the premier tracks before the repave, before they screwed it all up. So I don't. I hate going to Atlanta. I hate it. I really do. And the race review for the Cup Series is not gonna be much different.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the, it's just not racing, man. It's
No.
not. It's that. All right, yeah. Let's just get into it because I've got a lot. I just want to get off my chest. I'm really frustrated with NASCAR right now. I am so over it. I'm almost done with it. Like I have put too much time and effort into this sport, too much dedication. I can't remember the last time I fell asleep during a NASCAR race. I don't think I ever have. I've always been pretty damn entertained by these races because of the strategy and stuff we've had. But this, I fell asleep what 3 times during this race. I mean, I fell asleep one point during stage one, towards the end of stage one. I think I slept halfway through stage two. It was absolutely terrible. My best way to summarize this race is 259 laps of complete garbage. NASCAR basically just put this garbage product in front of our faces and told us, this is amazing. This is great. Clint Boyer's telling me, you should be absolutely on the edge of your seat right now enjoying this. And it's like, no, I'm not enjoying this. This is absolute freaking dumpster fire doo-doo garbage. Like, the fastest cars in the track, Todd Gilliland, Micah McDowell, Chase Briscoe, probably the 3 fastest cars in this race. We talked about this last year, Tom, when we talked about this race with Denny Hamlin and Alex Bowman. I can't even remember who the other one was at the time. Maybe it was Cindric or Keselowski. Were the best 3 in the race last year. That whenever they go to make a move to the inside, nobody goes with them. They stall out. It's just manufactured racing. So much drag on these cars. They're going around the track in these too wide whatever. And like Tom said last week, I think the reason they're pumping up this side by side manufactured racing is because then it gives all these rednecks an opportunity to stand up in the bleachers, hold their beer to the sky, and like it's the best freaking thing they've ever seen. Absolute dumpster doo-doo garbage. I'll let you interject here, Tom, and then I'll jump into some more of my points here.
Yeah, it just the side by side racing is okay, right? It's an okay aspect if we can pass. What we saw all night long, doesn't matter if it was during the beginning part of the race or the ending of the race. You'd see a car get right side by side with a huge run, not be able to take it anywhere, and then that car would stall out. He'd have no help, and then he'd go all the way back to 20th, or if he got lucky, he'd come back up in line. I mean, they've absolutely neutered these cars in the first place using a super speedway package. If they just gave them the horsepower, it would be, I believe, a lot better. We'd probably see a little bit of braking in the corners, which would definitely create a little bit more of a strategic racing in terms of where your car placement is. Even fuel saving, it would take into a huge account there. None of this, fuel saving scandals that they did at Daytona or whatever. But there's just so many aspects of this race wrong, and it's the inconsistency of it as well. I mean, we saw 2 cars wrecking down into pit lane, no caution. As soon as Chase Elliott goes 3 degrees of angle sideways, I mean, the caution's flying. I mean, we had Justin Haley spinning from the top lane, go all the way down to the apron, save it, continue on, and then the caution comes out. We have Denny Hamlin spinning through the infield completely sideways at full speed, comes to a stop, restarting the motor, and then the caution flies. What is a caution? I feel like that one dude who goes around all the big cities and asks what a woman is. What is a caution? What's a caution? I need a definition, because I'm gonna send it to NASCAR, because obviously they don't know either.
Yeah. That's what gets me too. We get in the Xfinity race, when I mentioned everybody's running out of gas. This is what goes to the whole point with there's another point on this
Yes.
as well. So during the Xfinity series, Ryan Sieg, they call a caution. Everybody's running out of gas, make it to pit lane. They call the damn caution. when Ryan Sieg is parked off the racing surface to the inside. But yet we have two cars pile into each other on one of the most ridiculous freaking pit road entries in all of not even NASCAR. This is motorsports freaking history here. Worst pit road entrance of all time. Two cars are wrecked in the middle of a green flag freaking sequence, man. No caution, bro. No caution. And like Tom said, Elliott is literally 3 degrees sideways in the corner. We throw the caution faster than the freaking LAPD is at the donut shop, man. It's ridiculous, dude. And this is my next point.
Wait, continue on with the pit road speed. Go
yes,
go with it.
This is what I'm going at right here. Who is the absolute freaking moron? This guy deserves to have his NASCAR design engineering degree taken away from him permanently. This is absolutely terrible. I don't know where he went to freaking school, Harvard or something. God, this guy's a freaking moron. In modern day NASCAR, in modern day motorsports, we have a pit lane with 2 pit road speed limits. What are we doing? And the differential here between this pit road speed limits, dude, is a freaking orange box somewhere on the freaking pit line you can't even freaking see. We had like 20 pit road penalties this freaking race because these guys can't even see a damn little freaking orange box the size of a Coke bottle can opener, dude. What are we doing? Why are we having 2 different freaking pit speed limits? Why the hell are we pitting on the backstretch to begin with? The most oversight crap designed racetrack I have ever freaking seen. And it would be okay if the racing was good. But as Tom and me have mentioned, the racing was junk, garbage, doo-doo, dumpster fire. Absolutely terrible.
Dog water.
And then here's my next gripe. Stage cautions. This is what I'm going to talk about. There has been a point where NASCAR turned from racing to entertainment. They need to take the R at the end of NASCAR and remove that because it's no longer freaking racing. Stage cautions. Stage cautions are the stupidest thing to ever happen in modern day NASCAR. I was okay with it for the first few years because it was new shiny toy, but it's just progressively ruined the product on track. Progressively ruined it to a point where it's almost unfreaking watchable. We got cars wrecking at the end of stage 2 over one freaking point. 1 point. Joey Logano throws a stupid block on Buescher. He's trying to be aggressive to save 1 point for the championship because every point matters now because of the freaking playoff system. We're wrecking at the end of stage 2 for no freaking reason. We finally had maybe a glimpse of some type of actual racing with some strategy played in there. We had the field spread out. We had different guys being able to make moves because we're not locked into this freaking manufactured aero freaking pack racing that we have there. And then a freaking stage caution is going to come out anyway, and these guys are racing for a point towards the end of a stage. It's absolutely freaking ridiculous. I mean, really, what did we learn last year without stage cautions on road courses? We can have good freaking racing, and we had good racing. Those road courses last year were some of the best freaking races we saw all season long. So what do? They listen to Dale Jr.'s download, and he says something about no more stage cautions. So what do? We gotta have stage cautions again. Gotta mix it up. Gotta freaking mix it up. Unbelievable. And then here we go, Tom. Here's the real kicker here. This NASCAR broadcast, modern day broadcast, is absolute dog water. Clint Boyer is absolutely unsufferable in the booth. Him and Kevin Harvick are having a appendage measuring contest in the booth every damn time. Harvick says something, Boyer's got to one-up him, then Harvick's got to one-up him, and we're sitting here talking about freaking nothing relevant to what's going on the track because these guys have got to freaking outdo each other by being morons. It's terrible. Mike Joy, what happened to Mike Joy? They neutered this guy. This guy is an absolute storyteller now, and he ain't even, the race is boring. It's boring. It's absolutely boring. I fall asleep. We had what did they call it? The crank it up? We had to crank it up under yellow. Under yellow. What are we doing? I'm frustrated, man. I'm frustrated. I am so freaking over NASCAR, man. I am so over it. And the problem is, this is the biggest freaking thing that's making me so freaking angry, is we have 259 laps of garbage, dumpster fire racing. And then what makes me so mad is we get this amazing 3-wide finish to the line. So what does everybody in the NASCAR community think of this race? I see it's the greatest race to ever grace the planet of Earth. It's the greatest NASCAR race of all freaking time. We're going to see this finish for the next 40, 50, 60 freaking years, and everybody's going to tell you this was the best race ever, when 259 laps of 260 was absolute dog water. And now that's what these people are going to freaking tell you. Remember Atlanta 2024? That was amazing. Woo! Beer City, baby. Let's rerun that. And they're only going to show the last freaking 600 yards of that finish for the rest of time. I don't know. Tom, you interject for a second. I had to cool down. I'm getting tilted, man. I don't think I've ever got to this level of tilted on a podcast before. This is great.
Well, actually, let's just move on and let's talk about that 3-wide finish for a second. All right, because Jay, you pointed out something really interesting there when the cars were coming across the line. Since when did we start taking into account the middle of the racing or the start-finish line as the finish for the race? All right, so a couple of things here. You can look back at the closest finish in NASCAR history, closest finishes in NASCAR history. It's always the beginning of the line, every single time. All right, you could even take it a step further here. All right, let's just talk about this for a second. All right, everybody's watched the Cars movie, right? Everybody has. I know everybody has, because it's a pretty popular movie. At the beginning of the movie, when Lightning McQueen was coming across the line, stretching his tongue out like, who's the Kiss singer? I forget. Anyways, and then the King was coming on the outside, and thank you. The King was coming on the outside, and Chick Hicks was coming on the inside. Where did they come up with that tie? At the beginning of the stripe. Really, all we've ever known is the beginning of the stripe. And then what? What happens at Atlanta? Anybody? All right, so we call the race at the middle of the stripe. All right, which goes against the history of NASCAR, which goes against movies about NASCAR, which goes about anything that the fans know, which the fans don't really care. They're 14 PBRs deep in the freaking stands. All right, so what is it? What is it? What is it for real? Like, I want to know, because if we're getting, basically we could chalk the whole weekend up to that last lap saving the weekend. Actually, we could just chalk it up. You know what? I don't even care. We could chalk up the whole weekend as being a complete failure. And the only people telling you that it was good were the people in the booths. Mm-hmm. That's it. 3 people. I don't know about Clint Boyer. I'm kind of on the fence there. But I'm going to go with it. 3 people convinced the whole nation that was a good race weekend. And I don't know how. They're very good at it. Actually, I know how. It's media. Media's pretty good at that, right? But they convinced an entire nation that it was good. It was a good weekend of racing. When we didn't see passes, all right? Kyle Busch, let's be honest, Kyle Busch should have won that race. Coming off of turn 4. Should have. If the package was right. He timed it perfectly. He had the help. Then everything dissipated because everybody stalled on the front line. Nobody had anywhere to go. We're lucky to see that there wasn't like a 20-car pileup at the end there because everybody was checking up. And by the way, hey, the reason why we can't add more horsepower to these cars is because we can't afford it. But yet, let's go to a back-to-back drafting track, as they like to say, and just wreck the shit out of everybody. Because why? Who cares? The fans like it. Well, I'm telling you right now, the fans want more horsepower. Hey, how about this? Instead of trying to go out to another country to go do an exhibition race, how about we just add more freaking horsepower to these cars? Hey, how about instead of going and reconfiguring Atlanta, how about we keep it the same and put some concrete down or something? I know that's kind of out of this world, but like let's actually problem solve here instead of trying to make it into a Daytona or a Talladega, because they really consider Atlanta to be the third drafting pack race, drag race, whatever the frick they want to call it nowadays. All right, they really do, and it's sad. It really is. It's sad. But you know, there's just so much asinine, so many bass-ackwards decisions, happenings on track going on right now, and I feel like everybody is so blind to it. It's like Jay was saying. I'm starting to believe that the manufactured racing is a thing to an extent where NASCAR creates a product that they think is going to work, doesn't work. They're not willing to eat crow, so they put broadcasters in the booth to tell you guys that it's the best racing we've ever seen.
Yes. And I don't think NASCAR fans really want more horsepower, Tom. I think if it was up to NASCAR fans, we'd race at Atlanta, Daytona, and Talladega every freaking week, all year round. We would just rotate the schedule. Freaking Talladega this week, Daytona next week, go back to Atlanta, back to Dega. It would just be a rotation.
Why just go watch some iRacing races. I mean,
Dude,
there's plenty of leagues that do that.
And this is my other gripe too. And the broadcast, we're flexing that we only had 5 cars without any damage. 5 cars didn't get involved in a wreck. If that's a flex, you are a bunch of morons. That's not a flex. That makes you look like a bunch of freaking idiots. You are supposed to be the top freaking stock car racers in the freaking world, and you're over here, well, only 35 of us freaking totaled our cars today. Shut the hell up. Don't tell me that's a flex. That ain't a flex. That makes you look like an idiot. Don't tell me that's a flex, because that's stupid. And then these NASCAR fans are going to be happy about it because, oh, we got wrecks. We got cars piling up. We want these guys going 290 miles an hour flipping through the catch fence. Yeah, that's racing, baby. Like, come on. What happened to racing, man? NASCAR used to be the freaking premier racing league in the world, and now it's getting passed and laughed at by every other racing league who has spent the last 30 freaking years trying to catch up. It's sad. It's sad what you've become, NASCAR. You are Big Daddy, man. And that's what I'll talk about next. Joey Logano. Joey Logano gets fined $10,000. $10,000. And here was NASCAR's response. Nope. It was, what did Steve Phelps say? This was a performance enhancing modification to his racing glove. Performance enhanced gloves. What is it? Like juiced up? Are we putting freaking lubricant on it or something? Like
I'll tell you what.
It was safety wasn't even the concern. It was performance enhancement.
Penske would make a lot of money selling those gloves to F1 and IndyCar, any open cockpit series with that terminology.
Oh my goodness gracious, dude. And $10,000 freaking dollars, bro. That is a chunk, my guy. Holy cow. For putting some webbing on a glove. Big Daddy NASCAR, man. It is the most absolutely bass-ackwards, fall-apart racing series, man. Like, and the problem is we got all these new fans coming in because of this freaking Netflix documentary, and they are never gonna know what they're getting robbed out of, what opportunities, what amazing stuff we had back in the golden era. I mean,
the problem is that they're gonna buy into this idea that this is the best stock car racing series, the best action that you're seeing on track, and then something that's actually good for the sport, something that's actually going to promote passing and good strategic racing is going to be frowned upon in the future because they've already bought into this idea. Yes. That's the problem that we're going to run into. In 10, 15 years from now, it's going to be nothing. It's going to be nothing.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's so sad, man. And then NASCAR's got to come out with these videos. Like you mentioned with the start-finish line there, Tom. NASCAR had to come out last week and make a video explaining when the race is official, when a freaking caution comes out on the last lap. Then they had to come back and double back this week because every NASCAR fan that in their freaking world was like, don't we measure to the start of the start finish line? And then they freaking come out with this video like, we gotta measure to the freaking yellow line. It's halfway through the start finish line. Just because it shows on your freaking 1942 freaking roll up camera angle that you got there at the start finish line, that freaking that doesn't show it to the freaking start of the start finish line. Now you have to make a new freaking rule to cover up for the rule that was already in place for the beginning of freaking time. Like, I don't even know. I'm so over NASCAR. I'm almost to the point. I'm only gonna start watching Xfinity races. I'm sorry. Xfinity series is the only good series NASCAR has. It's a freaking fact. And honestly, I'm good with Xfinity. I'm over the Cup Series with this manufactured finishes, manufactured racing. We're not even got the best drivers in there anymore, obviously, because they have to brag that only 5 of them didn't wreck. So what is the big deal here, man? Like, what are we doing? What are we freaking doing? I'm devastated.
It's these cars. It's always been the cars. I said it from year one. These cars are trash. Too rigid. We get multiple drivers with concussions being out for the rest of the season. Actual safety concerns pertaining to the actual car, nothing else. And their response is over a year timeline, all right, to really not do anything. But in the off season of the first year, then they start taking bars out of the rear clip because it's too rigid, like what we've been saying all year long. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's just, I feel like I could rant on this for 2 hours. It's not worth it.
It's not.
It's just not worth it. It's really not, because at the end of the day, they're not going to listen. I mean, if God came from the sky himself and told NASCAR, this is what you need to do, they're not going to listen. They're not going to. Because ulterior motives, money, which I call BS on. I've called BS on all year long, and I'll continue to call BS on, there needs to be a leadership change to save this. And it's not just one person. It's not just one person. We're talking from CEO down to president of competition, down to rules or safety. I mean, the faster we can retire this car, the better we'll be off as a sport. First off, I think. Well, first off is drain the swamp. Second off, retire the car. Third off, more horsepower. Fourth off, demo Atlanta.
Yeah, and then fifth, let's freaking talk some damn sense into these freaking team owners, man. That's another thing too.
And the team owners.
These team owners want to bankrupt every track in America. They're gonna have this awesome product and not have anywhere to race it. So, yeah, Jeff Gordon goes out and says, "Yeah, Hendrick Motorsports hasn't been profitable in 10 years." Well, what accountant do you have that tells you to keep in business if you're not making any money for 10 freaking years? That's what I'm.
I'd say, hey, brother, man, your house looks pretty nice though.
Yeah, yeah. Who
your
the
cars
hell
look pretty nice.
Takes
your
a loss
pretty
10
nice.
years in a row and stays in business? That just
all other companies are laying people off in this current climate, and these people are thriving off of their $10 million houses on Lake Norman.
Yep.
GTFO out with this stuff. I ain't about it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, I think Tom pretty much summarized it really well there to end this. If you guys want to see some real racing, we're going to talk about that here next. Heck yeah, baby. Actually, let's go to some news first. Derek Kraus announced that he's going to be running 6 races in the Cup Series for Colleague. Again, Colleague, what are we doing? We've beaten this dead horse over and over and over again. We're going to just leave that one alone today. Oh, man. Toyota Hypercar gets hit with a double BOP penalty here going into 2024. I think this is crazy. They've won the last, ever since the integration of the Hypercar into the World Endurance Championship, they've won all the championships, and now they're going to get balanced here with a double BOP hit. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. That you're telling me that you're going to penalize a team for being innovative.
Yeah.
Not only in their setups, but in the creation of the car. That's crap, man. That's crap.
Yeah.
I will say this. Okay, the one thing that F1 does right. Okay, the one thing that F1 does right. So let's talk about Braun just for a real quick second here. Okay, Braun implemented a double diffuser in 09, and that car was out of this world quick. Okay, the teams complained because, well, they found a loophole. F1 was like, big deal. They found a loophole. If you guys want to do it, do it. It's a loophole. All right? And then all the teams started catching on and they caught up to Braun. All right? And we had a fantastic ending to the season. And then what did F1 do? They banned double diffusers after that 2009 season. So now you got to remake your car. All right. Well, that's great. At least F1 let them run that ingenuity.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say about it. And if they found a groundbreaking aspect to the Toyota hypercar, just ban what that groundbreaking aspect is, so then all the teams have to follow it. What's this double BOP it's laughable. It is so laughable because they're gonna go into Le Mans, they're gonna get hit with another BOP because they're gonna top the charts, and then they're gonna neuter the car, and they're gonna completely screw Toyota out of another win. You may be a Toyota fan, you may not be a Toyota fan, but we can all agree that's BS.
What I think is even worse than the Toyota thing, though, is we just saw in the 24 Hours of Daytona, BMW and Ferrari GTD and GTD Pro cars. Oh, this one is even more laughable. They are getting docked manufacturer points because the IMSA sanctioning body didn't set the BOP right on the BMWs and Ferraris. They outperformed the BOP settings that IMSA set on them. So then now they're going to get docked manufacturer points. I think BMW put out a statement saying that they are absolutely done and furious with IMSA. Big Daddy IMSA, man. You know what? There it is. Big Daddy freaking IMSA, man.
You know who the same company is?
Big Dad NASCAR. It's all the same, man.
All the same. All the same. Can you believe it? They went out there with one of the harshest BOPs to the field. Still kicked ass, and then they get penalized after the race. Yes. Not even days. It wasn't even days. It was weeks. It was weeks. It's like they were sitting there twerking with their freaking dogs in their hand, saying, "Oh, we gotta figure out how to get these guys slower." And then they go and weeks later, weeks. We're talking weeks. All right. That is not okay, bro. That is that is just terrible. It is a terrible look on the 23 hours, 58, 36. Not only that, but we get a manufacturer points deduction because of their own incompetencies. Embarrassing. Embarrassing, man. That is so embarrassing. Man, that's like you getting a girlfriend, you cheat on that girlfriend, and then you blame it on her. That is embarrassing. That's like going to Starbucks and getting a pumpkin frappe or whatever the frick it's called, and then you're flaunting around town. I ain't scared. It's embarrassing.
It's bad. It's so bad, man. I feel terrible. Like, if I was BMW and Ferrari, I'd be like, I'm done. Like, why are we going to try? They set the rules for us. We followed them to the T, and then they get mad that we outperformed what they set base standard on us. Like, I would be freaking furious.
Their standard. Embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
You should be ashamed.
Yeah, and I mean, IMSA's getting just as bad as NASCAR. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable.
So I really want, you know what? Scott Pruitt, if you ever listen to this podcast, I want you on here, and I want to know your opinion.
Yes.
Scott Pruitt, the father of IMSA drivers, I want you on here, and I want to hear your opinion.
Yes.
Because I want to know if I'm missing something. If I'm missing something, I will eat crow all day long. But as it stands, how it looks, wow.
Yeah, I'm with you there, 100%. Um, I'll get to the IndyCar here in a second, but real quick, Carson Kvapil got signed for Xfinity Series with Junior Motorsports at Martinsville, putting his debut. I think it's a dub for him. I'd like to see what he could do behind the wheel of one of these. He's really good in the Cars Tour. I'd like to see what he can do in an Xfinity car. Like I said, Xfinity Series racing, best racing on the planet, NASCAR wise at least. Also, this weekend in Atlanta, let's just add to the freaking Big Daddy NASCAR stuff. I honestly think that NASCAR has a vendetta out on Tony Stewart and Gene Haas right now. I really do. They get them for roof rails not meeting the 3D printed CAD designs. Dock them 35 points. I don't know what's going on here, man. SHR is getting busted left and freaking right, man. And you know they're not the only ones out here bending the freaking rules, dude. Like, why is it always Stewart Haas? What did Tony Stewart ever do to you, man?
Well, he spoke out against NASCAR, but that's a part you buy.
Yeah, I know. It's so dumb.
Okay. I guess I still don't understand it because it's a part you buy. It's like a stamped NASCAR piece. Well, they're freaking explaining. They didn't explain anything on it.
No, they literally said it didn't match the CAD 3D printed picture that they send the teams. So it's either they make it and it wasn't 100% to the right spec, or NASCAR or they supplied it and it didn't meet their. Because we saw this last year, dude. We saw the same thing freaking last year, dude. NASCAR made parts for Hendrick Motorsports and for Colleague. Don't forget the Colleague. Made the parts. They were off spec, so they had to freaking modify them to fit the freaking CAD drawing that NASCAR provided. And NASCAR went, nope, that's not good. So what? You want us to run the part that was freaking mismanufactured?
Didn't Hendrick get it overturned and Colleague didn't?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Oh, man. What does that tell you?
That tells you they're playing favorites. Yeah.
Yoicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yikes. Actual L right there.
Yeah.
Again.
I agree.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. Big
Toyota
Daddy.
V6.
Big Daddy. I'm still angry about the whole Joey Logano penalty. The way, I mean, if they would have been like, yeah, it's because of safety issues or whatever, if that's what Steve Phelps would have said, I would have been like, okay, I get it. We're modifying a safety aspect. But no. His statement was performance enhancing advantage, gloves, performance enhancement. Like, what is going on here?
I find it quite hypocritical to talk about safety in the same sentence as bragging that there's 5 cars that haven't been involved in a wreck.
Yeah, and not throwing a caution at the most dangerous and stupid pit road entry of all time when 2 cars are piled in. But yeah, I mean, again, we could go on for days. We're gonna just leave it at that. But IndyCar, though, I think this is a dub move here. This is a dub move for IndyCar. So for the Indy 500 this year, on the final lap, they're not going to, I think it's during the whole race, but specifically for the final lap after last year's Indy 500, when Joseph Newgarden went way below in the pit entry line, in the blend line, and then he came back up the track. They banned that move in IndyCar. You can no longer go below that pit blend line. I think this is a huge dub. And the reason I say that is because one of these days, somebody's going to actually get freaking hurt and or killed by making a move like that. Making a block.
It's already happened.
Yeah. And I think this is a dub move.
You know, when I was in IndyCar, and obviously we qualified last for everything, so our pit box was all the way at the end. The years that I went to Indianapolis, the team principal would come on the radio and say, all right, if you're going to be close to the wall, make sure you have your head to the right, which would be towards turn 4, because he said there has been multiple instances in his career where there's been a car spinning off of 4, or there's somebody making a move off of 4, or there's 2 cars going side by side and they make a little contact and they come into pit lane, and it's not only that though, like, so there's pit crews there, okay? Then there's a fence, and then there's bystanders just standing right there. Well, there's also bystanders or spectators in the pit road as well. So, I mean, like, those guys aren't trained. They don't know. I didn't know until he told me, you know, and I was freaking in the event, you know. So yes, I agree. It is a good move for sure. To be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that they came out with something like that. Just because of the old aspect of things, but I respect it.
Yeah, and I think it's a big thing here is like you make a good point, the spectators and bystanders there and the officials and the crews, but also save these drivers from themselves, man. Like imagine if Ericsson was just a little closer and maybe got into the rear of the New Garden car. They're both going head on into that freaking pit
Yeah.
entry. That would have been
Yep.
catastrophic. So I just don't think there's a place for it. I mean,
I
honestly.
don't think so either.
I think if you
you're
get a
right.
run off of turn 4, IndyCar has it in place now where you can't really make double moves, and that's the way it should be anyway in all motorsports. So, I mean, you get a chance to block, but I mean, there's no need to freaking destroy everybody and get everybody hurt and or worst case scenario, you know. So, I think it's a big move. I think it's a good move. IndyCar's in the right area here. Where are we at now? Talked about all the news. Went over our big NASCAR rants. Congratulations, Kyle Busch, Austin Hill, Daniel Suarez for their wins this weekend. Take that with a grain of salt. Drivers of the week, I'm going to nominate Caden Honeycutt, P6 in the trucks. Did a phenomenal job staying out of the mess and was there at the end. That's all you could do. Also, SVJ, P3 in the Xfinity Series. Holy cow, man. This guy has, what, 3 NASCAR
Driver.
oval starts? 2 of them
Driver.
on manufactured tracks, and he's already getting career high freaking results that some guys can't even achieve in their entire career, and or
Driver.
other drivers with specific Ford backing. Oh man. You know what's funny though is I did read some comments and yeah, some specific racing fans from some specific drivers were complaining that for some reason the Fords don't have the same fuel cells as the Chevrolets and the Toyotas, which is
well,
surprising.
I'll I'll take it back. I saw a video this weekend of Hayden Deegan on track. Supercross, whatever. No, it's some lower series. I don't remember what it was, but he is freaking exciting, man. Like he was. This one clip I saw, he was coming back into the stadium, nosediving it, trying to get back onto the track, wide open, not even letting it go, continuing to go down the hill, where it went into like a double, but he made it into a triple, and then went across the tabletop and made that a double going into the next corner, and he's just absolutely ripping it. I seriously, it was impressive what I saw just in that 30-second clip of him going down into the stadium and doing what he did. It was impressive, very impressive. Just in that one clip, I was impressed. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty dope.
Maybe we should see him in a stock car. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be good. See if it translates. We see Pastrana, we didn't do it. We saw Carmichael do it. And they were pretty successful for the most part. So yeah. Alrighty, and then for the Cup Series, I'm gonna nominate this guy, Austin Cindric. He's P4 in the Cup Series. I picked him as my dark horse, so I just felt like I had to get him the driver of the week. A little bit of pat on my back there for that genius pick.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, that was a bold move. That was bold.
I told you though, man. The stats don't freaking lie, dude. That's the only track on the entire freaking schedule he's ever gonna do anything good at. So there it is. Alrighty, and then for Bonehead Move of the Week, Thad Moffitt, Jack Wood, both same incidents, clearing themselves, trying to make moves at a track that doesn't allow for you to make moves because it's crappy racing. But nonetheless, you got to nominate him. And then I'm also gonna nominate Joey Logano. But again, you can't really blame him. We're racing a freaking stage caution for one freaking extra point. Makes a stupid block on Busher. He says he got tight, but really what was happening is he was trying to make a block to stay in front of Busher, and it clicked them. So bonehead for Joey Logano. Not for the glove though. Not for the glove. I like that. I like the bold ingenuity there. That's awesome. And then for the point standings in the Cup Series, the points leader now is Kyle Busch with 77. And then Byron and Cindric are tied for second there with 76, only 1 point behind Busch. So it's a tight points battle right now. Yeah. And to
Actually, I
note,
shouldn't say wow because it's just been two crappy tracks back to back.
two super speedways.
And I'm really just looking at Cindric here.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how long it can last. I mean, can he keep the momentum rolling?
2 races.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and by the way, with that penalty to Preece and Gregson, I'm tied.
Minus points?
I'm tied in points with Preece, and I'm actually ahead of points over Lyle right now in the Cup Series. So that's pretty nice. I'll take that as a win. That needs to be a T-shirt. I got more points than Gregson in the Cup Series. Oh man. Alrighty. Yes, let's get into race previews this weekend. So this weekend we got Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup at Vegas. We got the World Endurance Championship at Qatar, and then Formula 1, Formula 2 at Sakir. Notable entries in the Truck Series this weekend. We got Christopher Bell in the Tricon number 1. Kyle Busch is back in the number 7 Spire. Connor Mosak in the number 45 Nice truck. And Zane Smith returning to the Truck Series with the number 91 McAnally truck. In Xfinity, we got Eric Almirola in the number 19 JGR making his return to the Xfinity Series. John Hunter Nemechek. I think this guy's running full-time in Xfinity, honestly. I mean, he's run on every race so far. He'll be in the number 20 for JGR. And then Corey Heim will be in the number 26 for Sam Hunt Racing. And then in the Cup Series, Kaz Gralla will be in the number 15 Rick Ware Racing. Derek Kraus making his Cup Series debut, I believe, here in the number 16 colleague car. And then JJ Yaley. He will be in the number 44 NY Racing Machine. You have no expectations, but like I said about BJ McLeod last week, he's going to make the race. And then the World Endurance Championship, the number 2 Cadillac Chip Ganassi Machine, old Sebastian Bourdais. He's going to be running some World Endurance Championship races this year in that second Chip Ganassi car in the World Endurance stage. So that's awesome. Also, Matty Campbell. He'll be in the number 5 Porsche. He just came off of a 12 Hours of Bathurst win, so he'll be piloting that number 5 Penske Porsche. And then I had to throw this guy up here, Callum Ilott, and the number 12 Jota. I like Callum Ilott. I think he's an amazing driver. So I'm excited to see what he does here in a Jota this weekend. And then also Jenson Button making his return to full-time World Endurance Racing this year. He'll be in the number 38 Jota. So interested to see what they do this weekend. But it's time for picks, Tom. In the Truck Series on Friday, the Victoria's Voice Foundation 200. My pick for this weekend, he's in the Tricon truck. It's old Christopher Bell, man. I think Christopher Bell's going to get the job done this weekend. He's going to be mighty, mighty fast. He's going to be very tough to beat. He's an exceptional driver. Vegas is one of his best tracks. I mean, every time they go there, I think he takes the victory. And then for my dark horse, there's about 4 guys I could have took here. But I just have good faith in this guy, Jake Garcia. I think he's going to win one of these races soon. Why not this weekend? I want him. I think he's going to win multiple races this year. And he's going to prove that number 13 ThorSport truck is a damn good freaking truck. And he's going to do some good stuff this year. Why not this weekend? Be a good dark horse for a top 5. Maybe a chance for a win here.
Oh, yeah, baby. All right. You know what? I'm probably just going to be going with him all year long. And unapologetic about it. So I mean, my favorite is Enfinger. Enfinger's going to win the championship this year, and every week is going to be a great week to start off that championship run. So, of course, I'm going to go with Enfinger, and then for my dark horse, I'm going with Carruth because rising talent. I can't really deny it. He had a little bit of a bad move there in Daytona. I don't remember where he finished at Atlanta, though. Do you remember? It was top 10.
Yeah, he was up there. He was right there with Sanchez towards the end. I know Sanchez came on like 5 or something.
So he's got a good, decent start to the year. But yeah, those are my 2 picks.
Alrighty. And then on Saturday, we have the Xfinity. The name of this race is the Liuna. I don't know why that's called the name of the race, but it is. But my pick this weekend, I'm on this train till the end, man. Whether it goes down in flames or it hits the mountaintop in absolute freaking glory, He's got 2 top 5 finishes this season. He's currently sitting second in points. I think he gets it done this weekend. Old Sheldon Creed, my guy, my hero, dude. I want this guy to win so many freaking races this year, man. When he starts knocking these wins down, man, it's gonna be a great time to be an Xfinity fan and a Sheldon Creed fan. So there it is. And then my dark horse, you can't deny this guy anymore. You can't doubt this man. This man is a real freaking racing talent, and it's just a shame that he has to come to NASCAR and put up with this bull crap. But SVG, man. SVG, my boy. This guy is the man right here.
Jay, I don't really like sharing the love here because I feel like there's a lot of good drivers out there that really deserve to be spotlighted, especially, at races where they can especially shine. But, Jay, I've been a big fan of this guy since really the beginning. So my favorite, I am gonna go with Creed. I'm not gonna share the love. I'm on board this season. I am. I think Creed absolutely puts RCR to shame this year. All right. We're only 2 races in. You remember last year? We're only 2 races in. And then for my dark horse, come on with it.
Come on with it.
Yep, that's right. I did get it. This is his Chicago win car. Yep. In fact, that mofo's going right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, buddy. Come on with it. Anyways, that is my rookie of the year. That is my highest hopes for this season. That is my best improved driver. That is my contender for race wins this year. And I really have no doubt in my mind about it.
There it is. The rookie of the year battle is great. We got Jesse Love versus SVG. You can talk about the other rookies, but they're irrelevant at this moment. SVG, Jesse Love. That's going to be your rookie of the year battle. That's a great pick. Alrighty. And then, heck yeah, dude. The World Endurance Championship. 19 hypercars on deck. I believe there's like 18 LMGT3 cars as well. This weekend, the Qatar 812-kilometer race, the season opener. And the best thing about this is they are on a streaming platform. So we don't have to pirate these international races. We get to watch it right here in America on HBO Max. I am so freaking grateful for this. NASCAR, take freaking notes what IndyCar and what WEC are doing by being on a streaming platform. This is so great. When I saw that announcement, I was like, yes, I don't have to pirate it anymore. This is awesome. All right. The winner of this weekend's race at Qatar, I'm going to stick with it. Penske is on an absolute freaking roll. Matty Campbell, my boy, is on a freaking roll. Comes off of 12 hours of Bathurst. Porsche has been absolutely amazing through the prologue so far at Qatar. We've seen Jode at the top of the board. We've seen multiple Penske at the top of the board. We've seen a little bit of Ferrari. I'm holding back on them just here at the beginning because the sprint races were not their forte last year. Toyota with the double BOP hit. I'm going to stay away from them this weekend. So my pick for the win, the overall, it's going to be the number 5 Porsche Penske. They're going to get the job done this weekend. My dark horse, a little bit on my IMSA side of things here. I'm going with Proton. They're also in a Porsche. They're definitely not near close to the top of the favorite board here. But their driver lineup is just A-class, A-tier. They are just consistent. They don't make any mistakes. They proved that at Daytona. They ran a 24-hour race, finished in the top 5, didn't make any mistakes. They were definitely the worst freaking LMDH car there. I think that they're going to do a fantastic job in this race. I think we might see him get into the points here by the end of this race, maybe even sneak in a little more points towards the end of this race and get up towards like 8th, 7th, 8th at the end of this. I think Carnage. I think we might see a lot of Carnage here, Tom. I'm really expecting a lot of survival and reliability. First race of the season, it's going to be on the table here. Then when it comes to the LMGT3 class, I'm going to take the number 27 Harder Racing. They've been about the 4th quickest in every practice session so far in the GT3 class this season, or in this prologue. I just have a good feeling about it, man. The Aston Martin team, they do great things in IMSA. The 24 didn't go the way they wanted to. Their driver lineup is just A class. I think if certain things play out right, they get the strategy right, they're able to hang up there with a lot of the favorites. I think they have an opportunity to sneak one out here and get a win. My dark horse. I'm gonna stay away from Iron Dames. I don't want to put the jinx on him. So my dark horse here, and it's purely because of how damn impressed I was at the 12 Hours of Bathurst. Valentino Rossi is driving for him. This man transitions to sports car racing, and it's like he's done it his whole freaking life, man. He was so good and consistent. He's got great teammates with him as well that also were in the Bathurst with him. I'm going to take the number 46 team, WRT BMW, as my dark horse this weekend. They didn't have the speed. But I think that they've got the maturity and the driver lineup to get something done here this weekend.
All right. So for my favorite for the GTP category, is that what they're calling it?
Hypercar.
Hypercar, whatever. same thing.
Same difference, yeah.
So you know what? I can't. It's my homie. It's my dude. I got to go with the number 2 Cadillac. Sebastian Bourdais just couldn't do it at the 24 hours. I'm not blaming it on anybody except for a brake problem. And I'm going to leave it at that. It's a great time to come back here to Qatar and do a little bit of a redemption tour. So I'm going to go with Cadillac. They're going to go up against some of the greats. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to see that team there. So, and then Jay, I'm not going to share the love. I'm going to go with the 99 Proton. Because, come on, guys. This is like the Steven Ritters of the Nexus GP series. I mean, a 5th place at the 24 Hours of Daytona with no support and a beautiful looking scheme. Beautiful. Just beautiful. And look, I'm so sorry you just didn't make the list. I love you, brother. It's just not this time. Maybe next race. All right. So for the LMGT3, I'm gonna play off of your dark horse there, but I'm gonna choose him as my favorite.
Wow.
For all the reasons you just said. I think that what we're kind of seeing here in WEC is what we're seeing in NASCAR with the Aussie invasion. We got Valentino Rossi, an absolute motorsport icon, coming in here, trying his hand at 4-wheel racing. And he was phenomenal at the 12 Hours of Bathurst. Seriously, impressive.
It was crazy.
It was so impressive. So I'm going to go with my favorite as that. And then for my dark horse, I think this is the ultimate dark horses of dark horses because of what we saw at the IMSA 24 Hours at Daytona, or 23:58:36. Ford, number 77 Proton. All right? Whatever issues they had with their main plane and pillars going to the main plane there. They had the prime opportunity at Daytona to look, realize, and fix for their race at Qatar. It's a Proton car. It's Proton. And I just really want to see Ford do good in this. I really do. I want to see Cadillac do good. I want to see Ford do good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great dark horse pick, honestly. I like you said, man, I think that they're going to learn a lot from that 24-hour Daytona, and I think they're going to take that into the World Endurance Championship and be successful. I am so freaking stoked for this race. I'm going to have this thing on. I'm going to be grinding through it, man, watching, just enjoying every single bit of it, man. What we saw last year at the World Endurance Championship was the most underrated racing series all season last year. I mean, we gave it some love here and there, like trying to pump it up, but like, man, 19 hypercars with like 14 different manufacturers being represented. This is insane. It's absolutely insane. I can't believe what is happening here in the World Endurance Championship.
Jay, I think Jared's trying to get you all worked up again.
What's up, boys? How about that racing this weekend? Oh my goodness, Jared. Don't even get me going again. I could go on another rant, man. I don't know, man. I am so frustrated. But with that being said, I think it's time to make our picks for the Formula One Bahrain Grand Prix. We're back with some F1 this weekend. Oh, man. Alrighty. I'm doing it. I'm doing this pick purely because in the offseason, my bold prediction was this man was going to win 2 races this year. He was going to finish second in the drivers' standings. I believe if the Ferrari team can pull their head out of their arses, as they would say in the European countries, that Leclerc is a world championship caliber driver. Last year at Bahrain, he had a lot of speed, and it felt like the season just fell apart from there. It just went right off. The wagon wheels came off, fell apart. He's been really good at Bahrain in the past. Charles Leclerc is going to upset the motorsports world and take round 1 in the Formula One World Championship for 2024. I am here for it. I want to see it. It's going to happen. He's going to win races this year. Ferrari's going to be better. They're not going to be dumb this year. It's going to be great, and it's going to start off here with the first race. I'm just saying that.
Jay, I think we've been saying that for like 18 years, bro.
I'm being optimistic, man. I didn't jump off the Creed bandwagon. We're not jumping off the Leclerc bandwagon yet. Alrighty. And then when it comes to my dark horse, Alpine. It's Alpine. I think Esteban Ocon is an exceptional driver. I think he's going to have a breakout year this year. I think he's going to get multiple podiums. Maybe it's a little bit of optimistic thinking here at Bahrain, picking him as my dark horse, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to roll with it. I think by the end of the day, when we're looking up at the results here, I think you're going to see him mixed in there with maybe Carlos Sainz, maybe a Lewis Hamilton, maybe right up there with Sergio Perez. I think he'll be right in that mix towards the end of this race. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited, Tom. Formula One's back. We get to see some real strategy racing again. This is going to be great.
Yep. I'm excited too. All right. So for my favorite, and the only real reason why I'm choosing this driver is because we just don't know. We don't know yet. So I do not want to see Mercedes succeed. They've had their time. We've given them their time. It's now their time to take the back seat. So I'm going with Verstappen this weekend. I don't really think there's much else to say, honestly. All right, for my dark horse. And remember what I said about the 2024 big predictions. If you don't remember, I'll refresh you. Sergio Perez is going to get kicked out of that Red Bull seat. Daniel Ricciardo is going to go right back to the top where he found himself at the beginning. And Red Bull will be great once again. So, with that being said, it starts here in Bahrain. Sergio has a terrible race. Daniel Ricciardo shines, and Daniel Ricciardo is looking like the golden baby. So that's my favorite or dark horse for this weekend, Daniel Ricciardo.
There you go. It's going to be great to see how good Ferrari is, and I think it's Ferrari and Red Bull this year. I think that's the battle for the world, for the Constructors and World Championship. We saw in the prologue here, or in the preseason testing at Bahrain, we saw the Ferraris were basically the cars to beat. Granted, we didn't see a whole lot of runs out of Max Verstappen. Red Bull didn't show all their cards, but we don't know, right? Like you said, Tom, we just don't know.
It looks like they've got some really bold side pods on that car. Really bold. So it's
Yeah.
either gonna fall right. It's either gonna fail as miserably as Mercedes did with the zero pod idea, or it's going to be groundbreaking like Braun.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's only two ways it can go. So there you go. There you have it for Formula One. Jared, back in the chat. I don't recall you saying that. Are you referring to SVG? Because we got SVG a good amount of love here in this podcast. Oh man. Alrighty, for the Cup Series, the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas. I'm taking Kyle Larson. He won this race last season in the playoffs. He's should have won it in 2022. Didn't get it done then. Got wrecked out, I believe, 1 year by Bubba when he had a winning racing car. So I think Larson. I think this is a track that this is his track. I mean, it's a Larson track. So I think Larson's gonna get the job done this weekend. I think you're gonna see a little bit of Toyotas, a little bit of Chevys up at the front. Mostly Gibbs and Hendrick are gonna be duking this out for the win. And that's why I'm taking my dark horse with Ty Gibbs. I think maybe Ty Gibbs could do something here this weekend. We haven't really got to see what he could do in 2024. We called him having a breakout year this season. We haven't got a good gauge of that because we go to Daytona, which was basically Daytona, and then we go to basically a track that should be bulldozed, which pisses me off because we bulldozed California, Fontana, an amazing racetrack, and we're going to Atlanta twice here. But I digress, but I'm taking Gibbs. I think we're gonna get him on a track that actually takes skill and ability, and we're gonna see his skill and ability really show out here this weekend.
Yes. Great picks, actually. I do want to just throw this out here on the table. Who are the two breakout drivers at Las Vegas at the beginning of the year every year? It's the same two damn drivers every year. It's Blaney and Bowman.
Mm-hmm.
Every year.
Every year.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
it's every year. And where I'm going with this is nowhere because I'm choosing Byron.
You had me on the edge of my seat. I was like, damn, are we getting Blaney? Are we getting Bowman? But you're right. I mean, they are the best two every single year.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Byron just because, man, he's a safe pick. He's always fast. Hendrick is great here. Penske is great here. You wouldn't be wrong in choosing any of those the 7 drivers now instead of 6, so 7. So that it's one of those 6 drivers. And then for my dark horse, I'm gonna go with Gilliland. What have we seen out of Gilliland this year? Holy cow! Surprising? Not really.
No.
Front row and their off-season moves have been phenomenal. It's translating to speed on track. They've already got a pole this year. They've got great showings, great runs. I think that Gilliland and maybe some advice from his dad on checking out front row, staying with front row, creating that team, creating the bonds and everything that you need to make a great race team is going to pay off this year. You have to watch Gilliland this year. He will be a threat. Michael McDowell will be a threat. Watch out. But I'm going with Gilliland this weekend.
There you have it. I was my bold prediction all season. I said Gilliland was going to win a race this year, and I almost looked like a genius this weekend. Damn, he had the best car. He had the best freaking car, man. It was unreal how fast that car was. Ah, yeah. So unfortunate. But you can't do anything with the best car at Atlanta anymore. You had the best car. You might. I mean, we saw this last year with Hamlin and Bowman and Keselowski. They had the best cars at both Atlanta races last year, and none of them got a win. So it's just the way Atlanta is.
We got to see a very important piece of NASCAR history, though. You remember that? No?
What do you... I'm trying to get where you're going with this.
We saw a car take tires, or not take tires, for 60 laps and blow a tire out in the front of the field.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That
was history, for sure.
Oh, and well, now it's a 3-ride finish after 259 laps of dog water.
I know.
But
And we're going to have to watch that finish for the next 70 years.
it's
And
going to
they're
be
going to
on
tell us.
every highlight
Yeah.
reel for the freaking end of time.
Yeah. And it'll only
next.
be the last 700 yards, too. It's unfortunate. Alrighty. NASCAR. Actually, we'll do Formula One fantasy, then we'll do NASCAR fantasies. Formula One fantasy this weekend. So, how it works, you guys can still sign up for it. I'll post another link in our community page for you guys to join. But
before we go into this, Jay, I really want to stress that I didn't know what Jay picked. Jay didn't know what I picked. We came into this pre-podcast little meeting that we have, and okay, that's it. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, so with Formula One fantasy, you get like $100 million salary cap per se, and each driver and manufacturers are set on a salary cap scale. So you pick 5 drivers, 2 manufacturers. You have to fit it all within $100 million salary cap. So with that being said, I wanted to take Verstappen because, like Tom said at the beginning here, we just don't know. What's one thing you can put your money on right now as most likely without knowing nothing at all? Who could be your surefire pick? Max Verstappen. I put him on my fantasy lineup. But that really handicapped me, though, for the rest of my lineup, so I had to pick different drivers. So I picked Ricciardo because he fit my salary cap. I feel like he's a good budget driver. Tom made some great points. I think this is the year for Ricciardo, so I want to take him early on here, fit my salary cap. Bottas. We don't know damn thing about, what is it, Kick, Sauber, I don't even know.
Freaking Suave, Nacho Libre. Fuck, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, we know.
We got 2 teams like that this year.
We know absolutely nothing about this car. Nothing about what's going to happen with them. So, what did they do last year? Bottas. I believe this was one of his only points finishes all season last year was Bahrain. So, I think he's a good driver to pick here. I think a veteran driver, somebody that if we see chaos and carnage, he's one of these guys that's going to survive it and get a points for me. So, I'm going to take him. Like I said with Ocon, I got to take him. I have a good feeling about him this year, especially at the end of this race. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. He's up there in the top 6, 7 at the end of this race. And then I'm going to take Albon because Albon, a lot like Ricciardo, I think this is the year for Albon. I think this is the year for Williams. So with that being said, I'm going to also take Red Bull as my manufacturer because that is the only surefire thing I know right now. And then I'm going to take Williams as my kind of like my dark horse manufacturer on my fantasy
line. All right, so again, we didn't see each other's picks before we came here. So my drivers are Verstappen, Ricciardo, Bottas, Ocon, Albon, which is exactly the same as Jay.
Dude, great minds think alike, dude.
Yeah, it is. It is that. All right, so but my teams are just slightly different, other than Red Bull. But for my second team, and why I went with them is because of the article that came out in 2023 regarding 2024 with customer parts and how they want to be more aligned with Red Bull. I'm going with the LMAO, RB, ABCD, DTF, LOL, LMNOP team.
Yes. This team is a team that has no name. I mean, they should just be branded as unknown because it's literally the Visa Cash App, Toro Racing Bulls, AlphaTauri, RB Red Bull Junior. Like, what is this team? LMNOPO, or what is it? LMNOMP. Like, I don't even know. LMNOP.
Yeah. And that's really the only reason why I chose that team over the others is because of that article. So
there you go.
And their name is quite comical.
Yeah, it is great, man. I don't even know what to call them, honestly. I don't even know. Alrighty, NASCAR fantasy. My 5 driver lineup this weekend: Larson taking the win. Byron, Tom's got a great point. And then I'm going with 3 Gibbs guys. I'm going with Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr. I feel like that's who's going to be competitive. I'm not taking a Ford early in the season because I have to see it before I can believe it, just like last year.
Um, all right, so I'm gonna go with sorry, I made a slight change. I was gonna choose Truex. I don't believe in Truex just yet. I'm gonna switch it to Blaney. I'm gonna go Blaney, Reddick, Logano, Larson, Gilliland.
There you go. I think that's a good lineup
A
as
little bit
well.
of bold.
Yeah.
It might be a little bold, just because of Gilliland, but I'm a believer.
Well,
I'm
I
a
mean,
believer.
if we've learned anything for fantasy this year, you're already kicking my butt bad. Like I am. I think I'm dead last in the league right now. It's sad. Um, but for matchups, I'm gonna take the 99 over the 14, which is Suarez over Briscoe. I don't have any faith in Stuart Haas. I feel like this team has just got NASCAR breathing down their necks. Nothing they could do. They don't have speed. I don't think the driver lineup's that great. So I'm gonna take Suarez over the 14 of Briscoe.
Yeah, the same thing. The 14 is gonna show up with some NASCAR parts, and they're gonna disqualify the whole car. So, uh, just for that sake, I'm gonna go with the 99 over the 14.
There you go. Oh man. All right, and then we got Truex over Logano. For me at least, I'm gonna take Truex over Logano. I know it's a Pennzoil 400. I know it's Logano's sponsor. I know he's 1 year in the past, been really good year in the past, but it's hard for me to believe that Truex can have another season as bad as the playoffs in 2023. I just don't see it, man. It's at the end of the day, it's still freaking Martin freaking Truex Jr., man. Like this guy is one of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time. Like, come on. I'm just gonna put the faith in him. I'm gonna put the faith in him. Even though I've talked so much up on Logano this year, it's Logano's year for the Final Four. I'm still gonna just stick with Truex here early in the season. I gotta see it before I believe it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with Logano over Truex. And like I said before, I just don't know if Truex has it yet. You know, we see Truex kind of go through some seasons during the year. Um, and of course, we haven't had some real drivers tracks. This weekend will be a good dictator of that. But the Fords seem to be really fast. And just because of that, I don't really know. The Toyotas are fast too, but I just have a little bit more confidence in Logano over Truex, so I'm gonna go with Logano.
Alrighty. And then the next one, this was a pretty interesting one. We got Ty Gibbs and Bubba Wallace. Um, I am becoming a believer of Bubba Wallace, but honestly, I feel like the time is coming for Gibbs. Gibbs is going to win races. He's going to be a future Cup champion, and it's all going to start this season. I think this is going to be a breakout year, so I'm going to take Gibbs. And I honestly, I took him as my dark horse. I could have took him as my favorite easily. I know he has never won yet, but watch out for Gibbs this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the same thing. Um, the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Actually, I'm going with Gibbs.
Alrighty. And then we have Chastain and also Keselowski. Chastain, man. I'm not doubting Chastain ever again. This guy has proven this year alone. I mean, wow, what a wheelman this guy is. This guy is just awesome. He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. Look, I really do think this is an interesting matchup, though. We've got Brad Keselowski, who is going to be fast in that RFK. I think no matter what, he's going to be fast. But the aggressiveness that we've seen out of Chastain so far this year has been bar none. We haven't seen that out of really any other driver at the moment. So I think that's going to be more of an aspect in the race that we see at Las Vegas. That is why I'm choosing Chastain over Keselowski.
There you go. There you have it. That would be our NASCAR fantasy and our Formula One fantasy for this weekend's races. And I believe that will basically wrap up this podcast. Is there anything else, Tom, you want to talk about? Anything else you want to get off your chest? Anything driving you mad here? I don't know.
Yeah,
Anything
so
else?
actually, I want to just address this post by Jeff Gluck. He
Yes.
put a poll out on X saying, "Was Atlanta a good race?" And I really hope 96.1% of you went home that night and slept well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's all that needs to be said for sure. You're right. Yep. Yep. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I'm gutted. But with that being said, I think that will basically end this podcast for tonight. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight and listening to us rant and talk about everything going on in the motorsports world. I mean, wow. Tom, wasn't it just like 3-4 weeks ago on this podcast we come on here and we were bragging up this year? This is going to be the greatest year in motorsports
I feel
freaking history.
stupid.
I feel like I lied to you.
Well, let's take it like this. Let's take it like this, okay? We've only really seen NASCAR, so we got a
That's true.
chance.
That's true.
Okay?
We do
We've
have
got
a chance. I know.
Well, and we've seen IMSA. Okay, we're down 2 right now, but we got 3 more coming up.
We got
Double or nothing.
Yeah, we got a 60% success rate here on the deck. We just gotta hope it all works out here. Oh man, I know. IndyCar comes back in 2 weekends, or not this weekend, but next weekend, and I'm super stoked about that. Can't wait to get into that. And by the way, I just posted a new beginner's guide to IndyCar on this channel, so go check that out. Get you guys ready for the IndyCar season. Also, what's coming up with the channel this Friday? I think it's Friday, maybe Thursday night. We'll see how much I can get done here as fast as possible. But the crash compilation for the month of February is going to be coming out. So make sure to tune in and stay caught up on all the exciting and thrilling crashes of the month of February, I guess. That's always a good time. There'll also be another version of it because it's most likely going to get taken down and struck by YouTube, unfortunately, trying to preserve motorsports for the future generations. And we get struck down by all these motorsports groups on YouTube. But nonetheless, if you go subscribe to our Patreon, helps out the boys here at the Dega Boys community here. Make more and better content for you all the time. You can go see the full unfiltered, unedited version there on Patreon. And then you will also get the YouTube version that will meet all copyright criteria here on YouTube. Also, you know what, Tom? I think we should talk a little bit about some of the iRacing we did. This was one of my points with the Iowa thing, or Atlanta. We had some amazing races this week, last week. Unbelievable.
Okay, let's talk about that Backmarkers Racing League Xfinity race at Michigan. We saw different strategies. We saw great side-by-side passing opportunities happening. We saw a phenomenal finish on that. Even working through all of our issues that we were having, we got to go out and broadcast this thing. We also got an absolutely crazy finish with the NSR trucks at Daytona. I just got to get a big shout out here to Dallas Seward.
Yeah,
man, he went head first in that catch fence and walked away. Impressive. PSCRL at Las Vegas. Good Lord, am I telling you, if NASCAR had a race like that,
it'd be the greatest race of all time.
Everything in the world would be right. Everything in the world would be right. Chris Dange, I got to give a shout out to him. He stuck to a strategy that was just out of this world. He made it work, won the race. Incredible. And then we had Daytona Sports Car qualifying on Sunday. That got very intense for that LMP2 battle. Cameron Keeley coming on top of there. Wow, that was pretty fun watching that going.
Wow.
It was. They were swapping for like the past 3 minutes or the last 3 minutes of that qualifying session. It was pretty dope. And then last night, what a race we had at Sebring Modified with the Indy cars. Good Lord. James Pierce just absolutely put on a performance, put the whole field a lap down. Second place, Travis Smith. Huge shout out to him contributing to the Dega Boys channel. We really appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. He came out, ran P2, almost kept James Pierce behind him. And then in third place, we had Steven Ritters, who had some pretty big implications on the start of the race. Found himself in last place, battled all the way back to P3. Holy cow. How did he do that? I don't know. He did it. Impressive. Probably one of the greatest drives you've ever seen on the Dega Boys channel. But with that being said, we got a lot to look forward to here. All right. Tomorrow, NSR Trucks at Las Vegas. Thursday, we got the Backmarkers Racing League at Vegas.
Chicagoland.
Yeah, or Chicago. My bad.
Yes.
Okay.
Another gem of a racetrack.
And then we're still on for PSCRL.
Yep.
I think we're at
Rockingham.
Rockingham.
Yep,
that's the throwback race for Rockingham. And so we're going to be seeing a lot of cool stuff there. We're also going to be trying to run a special event in March with the COT cars and NSR. So make sure you guys check that out. More details to come. Nothing or the date's set in stone, kind of. But recruiting is in progress. If you guys want to be a part of that, let us know. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot coming on here.
And then Sunday.
Yeah, and then Sunday we've got the Daytona race for the Battle at the Beach with the IMSA style racing. So what I really want to say, though, is please go onto our community page and please choose IndyCar for the watch party.
Yes, please.
I'm begging you. Begging you. Please.
Yes.
I really want that race. Even though we got lots of cool broadcasts coming up, I really want that race.
Yeah, me too.
Please. Okay, that's all I got.
And my only thing I want to say to everything you just said about all the races we had last week is we had 4 races in a qualifying session last week. And every single one of them, non-manufactured, non-artificial freaking racing. And they all had amazing, thrilling racing throughout. And all came down to amazing, thrilling freaking finishes. So take notes, NASCAR. You don't need stage cautions. You don't need manufactured freaking racetracks to have good racing. Stuff can just happen now.
Facts.
It can.
Facts.
It really can. That's what makes these races awesome. Is naturally just awesome. Just because they're freaking awesome racing. Anyway, TP Gamer in the chat. He says, "Yo, that background looking fire." Hey, thank you. Yes, I want to thank my parents. They showed up and helped me set this whole deal up here last weekend. It's freaking awesome. Thanks to them so much,
bro. That's all I gotta say, baby. Right there.
Dega boys.
Hey, look, the Dega games. We gotta talk about Dega games for a second.
Yeah, talk about Dega games.
All right, that's coming up. We've got everything set in stone, right? Everything is set in stone. It is happening no matter what. All right, we're working out a couple of kinks here. No problems. All right, we're gonna be there. If anybody else is gonna be there at Talladega, come say hi to us. You may have an opportunity to be on a podcast that we're gonna be doing on the infield. So go ahead and check us out. Dude, I'm so excited. It's coming up. It's coming. We're gonna. Okay, you know what? Let's just talk about it. Everybody's flying in on Monday. All right. Tuesday, we're gonna have a little competition with the King of Camo. All right. We're going go-karting. All right. And that's our forte right there. It's our forte. We're about to put some heat down. We're gonna
lay the
hate down. Lay the hate. And then we go to the gun range. I've been encouraging Jay to hit up the range. We might need a little help with that. Look, I've battled the King of Camo before. One of their members, and I am back-to-back champion. So I am confident in that. You can get all the rematches you want. It still doesn't take away the fact that 2 times sitting right here. And be scared, because it's not looking good for y'all. And then we go to Talladega on Thursday. We're going to set up. We're going to set up our studio. We're going to set up all of our other good stuff there and have a great weekend. So, man, we got camera guys. We've got cameras on track. We got cameras at the range. We got cameras on ourselves. It's going to be just fantastic. I'm so excited to share that with you guys. So excited.
Yeah, there you have it. Dega Games. Keep informed and in the loop as that's on its way. Also, make sure to go follow us on all of our socials. Those are at the bottom of the screen, as well as the link in the description. Go follow us on all of those social platforms. Help us build our platform and brand over there. I want to give a huge shout out here to Dallas Seward, Nexus Sim Gaming, or Sim Racing. Excuse me. It's been a long day. And then also Jimmy Six Time. These are some of the top members on our YouTube platform. They are either the boys category or the ultimate diehard with Jimmy Six Time. Thank you guys so much for your continued support of the Dega Boys channel. It means the absolute world to us as we continue to grow this platform. All of those proceeds go back into the channel to help us continue to make this the premier motorsports platform on the internet. It's unbelievable. Also, am I missing something? No, I think pretty much got it. I think
Got it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast, bared with us a little bit with some of our rants. But that just shows how passionate we are, and we want motorsports to grow for the future generations, and also stay around, man. Like, racing is life, and it's unfortunate where some of this stuff is going. So, hopefully somebody's listening, or somebody's hitting the right areas here, getting to the right ears to help make things better. And rest. I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's just end this thing. I just feel bad for 96.1% of people on the internet. Other than that, we'll end this podcast. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. And with that being said, we'll catch y'all tomorrow for some truck racing here on the channel. See you guys then.